So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Good afternoon and welcome to the Team Sheet Tantrum. As you can see, I've butchered this one, and it's not Neil Dunworth on your screen, and it won't be Neil Dunworth on your screen because he is otherwise engaged in family matters. And I hope you're all well. Heading into this huge game today, some team news has just broken, which I'm going to tell you now. Matty Cash makes his return. Martinez, Cash, Konza, Pau, Dean, Philogene, Barkley, Tielemans, Bailey, Rogers, and Watkins, which also means Onana didn't make it. So huge changes. Hopefully it doesn't mean anything different to what we're used to. But yeah, let's have a look at the subs. Gauchi, Nedeljkovic, Matson, Diego Carlos, Lamar Bogard, Sil Swinkles, Emiliano Buendia, Caden Young, and Young Yeda Duran. So, wow, there's a lot of talking points in there that, well, I wasn't expecting Cash back, but he's there. We also have the big talking point of no Onana. So Barkley, who has been excellent every chance an opportunity he's got. So fingers crossed that is the case for today. Let me see what I can do here. I don't think I can call the team up for you. No, don't think I can. Anyway, hope you're all well. What's your thoughts on the team there today? I was waiting on somebody to join me there, but I'm just checking to see if all is okay. He has said he's set up and ready to go. But anyway, Onana tweaked the hamstring apparently. Arrived at the game today in his tracksuit, no gear, no nothing, pair of jeans or something he had on and his tracksuit top. So, it's a talking point. We also have to talk about how Bailey starts today because we really didn't think after the other night we'd be looking at Bailey. Obviously, Philogene is a huge plus, and I hope he drives on from what he did the last day. I would imagine we'll see Philogene playing off the left and Bailey off the right. It's all there's very little complaints anyway from me. Great to see Cash back in there. Great to see Konza back in there at centre half alongside Pau. Luca Dean hasn't let us down at all. Barkley and Tielemans, I'm sure, will be absolutely fine. And so John Duran on the bench again. I just have an unbelievable feeling about today that we're going to do a number on these. That could obviously come back and bite me on the buttocks, but I'm hoping it won't. I'm going to get the Man U team if I can for you guys. Boom, 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 boom. What do we got? Okay. And they're making me go into their website to buy a shirt and they can go and shit with themselves. And it's not in order, of course. Onana, Mazraoui, Maguire, Fernandez, Rasmus Højlund, Rashford, Ericsson, Garnacho, Gallo, Evans, and Mainu. Now, Mainu wasn't expected to make it today. So that's a big talking point. On the bench then, they've got De Ligt, Lindelof, Martinez, Casemiro, Ugarte, Ahmad, Anthony, and Xerxes. So strong bench. Surprised to see Johnny Evans there. I was hoping we'd be looking at Johnny Evans coming on for somebody towards the end of the game, and having John Duran run at him would have been fantastic to watch. I do have a guest, I think. Thank God for that, Mark.
Paddy, how are you, Matt?
I don't have the same staying power as Neil when it comes to talking, so I'm so glad to see you arriving there underneath me. How are you?
I was having a battle with an 18-month-old trying to get him to sleep there. He's a disaster. So sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late.
That's all right. Have you seen the team?
I haven't, no.
Okay, so a number of talking points. Just bear with me here 1 second. Martinez in goal. Cash is back. Konza, Pau, and Luca Dean. Barkley and Tielemans. So Onana's out. Philogene and Bailey, and Watkins and Rogers. So it's Onana. Onana obviously didn't recover from his injury. Bailey is in there. Barkley is in there, and Cash is in there. What's your initial thoughts on that?
Surprised Bailey's in, to be honest. For one, I didn't think he'd make it, but I don't think he done a whole pile to show that he should be playing. So unless they're trying to get him back to fitness now, and with the international break coming up, maybe give him some game time and get him in there. I actually thought Ian Matson would start left, to be honest, with Ramsey out injured. That's what I expected because... Sorry?
Me too. That's exactly what I would have. Yeah,
because I thought it would make a lot of sense to double up on that Mazraoui with Digne and Matson, because a couple of teams have doubled up on him recently and he's really struggled with it. And I thought their midfielders would have had to drop over then and give him a help, which would have created a lot of space for Rodgers in the middle. But obviously, I'm not going to question him. He's obviously seeing something. He obviously wants to get Bailey up to speed as quickly as possible, being the most natural width we have. But what's your opinion on it, Paddy?
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about the Bailey situation. Like he warmed up on his own on Wednesday night with his own personal trainer, which I thought was pretty strange. I thought it was a fitness test he was doing. He started and came off and really didn't look up to it at all. And I expected, you know what, international break coming, leave him there, let him sort himself out. It must be something fairly minor if he's throwing him back in there, or he must have trained like an absolute lunatic for the last couple of days. But you know, I still believe. Look, what we have to come off the bench here, if that's Matson for Bailey, if this is John Duran coming in there, Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire at centre half. That's surely
they're starting.
They're starting, yeah.
Like that's incredible. I mean, Ollie Watkins should make mincemeat of them, and Rodgers coming into this, dropping into this hole. I've watched a lot of United this season. You know, they're obviously showing a lot. I know that's been said in probably a lot of places, but it gets worse. These gaps between their midfield and their defence. I've never seen anything like it for a team that would consider themselves a top level team. It's incredible how it hasn't been addressed. This is not like a new issue. I was hearing on another podcast there recently. Erik ten Hag has conceded more than 20 goals, more than 3 goals in a game 24 times already as United manager. That's bottom of the league stats. You know what I mean? That's an incredible stat. Like United, when you watch them, they can turn it on. Like they do have goals in the team. They are a threat. There's you can't take that away from them. They have absolutely no confidence. As soon as you get at them at all, they fall asunder. So maybe that's what he's thinking. Maybe this could be the game to get. You know, as a Villa fan, there's a big difference between an unconfident Bailey and an unfit Bailey. And he looks unfit to me at the moment. He doesn't look like, where he goes through these patches of lack of confidence. It doesn't look like that to me. It's not like it's not just happening for him. He just looks off the pace to me.
He took the ball down on the halfway line a couple of times in positions where you expect him to push that 20 yards in front of him and really run at the defence. And he had nothing in the tank. He had nothing to offer. He looked around to see who he was going to give the ball to. He just didn't have the wherewithal to go with it, or the fitness, or he was feeling something. And it was at that point I realised that this guy's going to be taken off fairly quickly here.
Philogene's aren't to start, hasn't he, Paddy? I mean, like, I thought he was excellent the other night. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Defensive wise as well, he was absolutely excellent, and he'll help out Matty Cash and getting back up to speed today. I'm delighted for Matty Cash to get back in there. Obviously, Diego Carlos did well the other night, but he hasn't been pulling up. He got there, and against the lesser teams, he's been found wanting. It's an unusual situation here now. I just can't figure out whether this guy is setting out to lose today to get himself sacked, because I just don't know why he's gone with Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans. Now, I said that to do with him having a bloody stormer, but you know, he spent a lot of money on De Ligt. To the bench, as he picked up a knock, we don't know. Lindelof still hanging around there. Still can't believe that Lindelof is still at that club, to be honest. Obviously
Mourinho was trying to move him on. Like, how long ago was Mourinho there? You know what I mean?
They must have given him a new contract since then.
all jokes aside, though, I mean, look, we all love it. We all have our pain with Man United growing up, but like, it's almost gone to the point that, and I don't want to say it too much because they'll probably beat us. That's just what they do. But the pain of the past, but they are really gone bad. Like, I mean, they're gone beyond bad. Like, they're going nowhere. It's worse they're getting. So, I just hope they don't do us like these are the kind of games we need to come out and set a marker down early, you know.
Well, we do have to be alert here because, you know, Rashford, Højlund, Garnacho, all of these players have hurt us in the past and are capable of doing it on their day. But I just think we have to be in the ascendancy from the start. You'd have to think that we're the favourites to go and win this game and win this game well. 100%. And it's about time we gave them a tonkin. They've been long overdue. We beat them once or twice. But we're long overdue giving these guys a spanking because they've absolutely taken the piss over us for what feels like 30 years. And I honestly think, looking at those two centre halves, I honestly think he'd probably been better off with Watkins and Duran starting because they would have given them a torrid time, I would imagine. You
kind of wonder, though, is that why Bailey's starting? Come on, run him ragged, and then maybe he's going to go to two up top with Duran and Watkins maybe in the 60th minute or something. Maybe that's what he's thinking. Possibly. Give Bailey 50 minutes an hour, try and get him minutes in the tank and then get him a good training session over the 2 weeks because he's obviously probably won't be away in international duty, I wouldn't imagine. At the moment, I don't think he's patched things up yet, but I do think Steve McLaren is kind of trying to sort that situation out. You'd imagine he would be anyway because, you know, Jamaica don't want Leon Bailey not connected to the country, do they? Like they can't replace him. Like, but that's what I think might happen, and they might move to the 4-4-2 then after. The one thing I will say, and he is a butt of a lot of jokes, but Harry Maguire does carry a threat in the opposition box, so that's something we're going to have to be wary of. It's fair to say it's been a weakness of ours for quite a while now, and we are kind of addressing it. We're getting better at it, but so there is goals in the United team, but of course we have to, if we have aspirations of finishing in the top four, these again, because Spurs went to wipe them over. Liverpool turned them over well. You know, Liverpool could have put 7 past them. Spurs could have put 7 past them, and that's the kind of level we're aiming to get at. So we need to kind of treat them with respect, but also not too much respect. We need to go out and play our game and open them up. And if we do that, we will find spaces. I think Morgan Rogers will be vital to this today. I think he'll be just told to do what he does against Arsenal, just drop deep, pick up that ball and just drive. Because United, Porto were doing it during the week at will, just picking the ball up and driving, and they just look petrified. And like they don't know, there's no leadership back there anymore. Like there's no one to put them into. So there should be space. And Ollie Watkins in behind, you would imagine. Like I would imagine Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans would probably have rather been up against Duran than Watkins today, because they don't want to be chasing Ollie Watkins up and down the pitch. Like.
Yeah, absolutely. You make a couple of good points there. I just want to address. You're dead right about the threat from set pieces with Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans in his day was very good at getting goals from set pieces. And a big point on that is we're missing Onana today, who has been brilliant in defensive set pieces for us. He just occupies that space where the ball usually drops into and absolutely cleans up. So that is a worry. And hopefully our set piece coach has been working on that all week. Something just came to me there, Mark. Is there a possibility here that we see Bailey playing that Rodgers role from the start and we see Rodgers off the left and Philogene off the right? Like
he used that when Emery first kind of came in, like where he kind of almost like the Abbey and sit up there with Watkins.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't think that, I wouldn't be totally shocked, but I would be slightly surprised if Rodgers isn't playing that hole, because I think it's made for him today, like against United. But yeah, I don't think I wouldn't be blown away if that was the case. I think. he probably would have to put less output up there as well as in like work rate and
Exactly,
fitness
that's what I'm
level.
thinking.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
no, you could be right, Paddy, and because that was his role originally before Diaby came in anyway, pretty much like. So
I am convinced that Rodgers is better playing from a bit deeper and running with the ball as opposed to playing with his back to goal, and I prefer him playing in that Ramsey position as opposed to in that Diaby position which he has occupied. I just think today is the day for him to really run at people, and he can run at them better if he drops a bit deeper.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. What do you think? Like I would imagine it's pretty much down to an injury to Onana, but like I have no problem with Barkley coming in either. Though I think he's probably earned the start either. It's just he earned to go with an injury, let's say, because I don't think it would have been fair to dislodge any of the other two straight away. But like I've no problem with him coming in there because he's been brilliant. It's a big game for him because he's done it now coming off the bench a few times. Wasn't great against Wickham, but I don't think you can judge any of the team on that, you know. So it's a big game for him now. Big game for him now from the start.
And look, he could stay the case for him starting the next day if he has a good game today. It's we've seen him do very well at this level last season with Luton in a poor enough team, albeit a strong physical team. And he's been excellent every time he's been called upon. For us, take out that Wickham game, which we, as you say correctly, we're not judging anybody on because anything was possible that day, I believe. But it's a big opportunity for him and an opportunity for him. And I think he believes that he can nail down a position there. I think he believes in himself. He's shown great belief in himself. He's not a shrinking violet. He took on a shot last week from distance. You know, he's well able to score a goal. We remember that day against Liverpool, which the anniversary was during the week when we scored the 7. He was brilliant that day at driving on, and got a goal as well. So, I've great hopes for him. But the only thing we're missing with that Onana one, I believe, is the set pieces, which is unfortunate.
100%. I've said in my own podcast previous as well about Barkley is I think that year at Luton was actually done him the world of good because obviously Luton weren't going to see a lot of the ball. You know, they had their way of playing. They knew what they were. I enjoyed watching them, to be honest. But he's learned how to look after the ball a lot better because Luton they weren't going to see much of the ball. So when we got it, we had to try and keep it for little sustained periods. And he's after getting very good at just doing the simple thing and keeping that ball moving, as opposed to like it's a big change from the player he was originally, where he'd pick the ball up and drive. But his close control football, and like he's come on and kind of settled us down would probably be the term I'd use, like in games where we were kind of starting to get a bit of a basketball game up and down, and Emery's brought him on at the right times just to bring a bit of calmness to the middle. And he looks a completely different player. Like we know he's got the talent. He's always had the talent. He looks like he wants to prove a point to the fans too. I see him. He's always making a point of going over clapping the fans because you kind of forget too. He didn't get to play in front of the fans the last time he was with us at all. Yeah. He was, and so everything that he would have heard from the fans' point of view from us, like, would be kind of negative the way it ended for him. So he's probably come back with a big point to prove for himself too, you know, to himself and the fans. So I'm really happy with him. 5 million. I mean, you can't go wrong with it for a player like that.
You just put a thought into my head there about the night I laid into him on the podcast when I thought he threw his toys out of the pram.
Rightly so, Paddy, because the attitude that you're 100% right, because it was there for all to see, and he obviously must have had a lot going on. So it's good that he's went away and he's kind of came back and he's got his head straight because he's too good a player to be just floundering between clubs every year, and you know what I mean.
Oh, look, absolutely, and look, I've. Absolutely, like I don't believe in letting people away with poor performances and poor mentality. So I have always, even when Ollie Watkins wasn't firing, I've always been in the camp of he needs to sort himself out. The same with Bailey, and they both came around and sorted themselves out. And Barkley has 100% sorted himself out, and he's even reinvented himself, as you say, which is great.
Just with Cash there, Paddy. He's been out for a while. He's picked up these soft tissue injuries before. I'm trying to think, is he the kind of player that needs much time to get up to speed? Emery obviously doesn't think so, because I'm trying to think of some comebacks he's come back before. Like, do you think he's ready to come straight back into the team? Because he hasn't played any minutes. He hasn't come off the bench or anything like.
No, and wasn't named in the squad, obviously, either. It's just straight back in there. It's an unusual one, but he's a very fit lad.
Yeah.
If he obviously trained, he's been training for 10 days because we saw he shared a photograph of himself on the grass 10 days ago, which is probably enough. If he's involved in the full training sessions, it's enough for him to be ready. So I'm absolutely fine with it. Obviously, if it doesn't work out for him, you look at the bench and there's plenty to come in there and help him out as well. So we can revert back to that Konza right back if needs be. And look, it might be the right thing to do to get him 60 minutes under his belt, or bring Carlos or Nedeljkovic in there. Heading into the international break and giving them a little bit of time to see what they're made of and see how the injury is. Because even if he's at 70% and gives us 60 minutes, I think it'll be good for him in the long run. And look, I don't know whether he was named in the Polish squad or not, but maybe a few days off for a lot of players will be much welcomed in the coming days.
Yeah, 100%. Paddy, can you name the bench there for us again? I just missed it when you were naming it when you were coming on. I just don't have it at hand there.
Can. It is Gauci, Nedeljkovic, Matson, Carlos, Bogard, Swinkels, Buendia, Caden Young, and John Duran.
There's a lot of variety on that bench, isn't there? Like you've Bogard who can play a couple of positions, and a bit of experience, and there's players you can turn to change games there. I'm interested to see how Philogene now comes, because again this will probably be a bit of a different game, because at Bayern we're probably expecting to not have so much of the ball, so it's about work rate. Be interesting to see now when the onus is on him to attack a bit, so it's a big game for him too.
It's a huge game for him, and look, he was fantastic the other night. Let's be honest, it took him 20 minutes to get into the game, but once he got into it, he was like a man possessed. Every time we lost the ball, he was in recovery mode. He was getting back, making tackles, making challenges, standing players up. Brilliant to watch, absolutely brilliant to see a winger with that work rate, and hopefully it continues, because some wingers can start smelling their own poo and believe they don't have to do that work back. So if you can have a guy willing to put in that work and really work on that, it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
What's the what would you kind of with the defense now, like with Konza coming back in? Are you happy? Do you think Carlos deserved go after his performance the other night, or do you think that just the way things have been previous to the Bayern Munich game, that he's probably played himself out as soon as the chance came? Or like what do you think is the thought process with that?
I think the Ipswich game, I think it was a needs must the other night to play him in the Bayern game. Well, for me it wasn't. I probably would have played Nedeljkovic, but I don't know what's going on in training, and I don't know what the manager's mindset is on that, but I would have played Nedeljkovic instead of playing Carlos ahead of Konza at right centre back all along, and I've said that so many times. But he's chosen to play him. It cost us last weekend. It definitely cost us last weekend.
100%.
It didn't cost us. Like I've said it now a few times. I have a theory that I think he needs to be busy, and if he's busy, his mind is completely occupied with the game. He just seems to go to sleep when the other teams hit us on the break, and he just looks like a fella who's not ready when the ball is coming at him. Like he looked like a fella who was staring at the grass when Ipswich ran at him for that second goal. What's his name? Forgot his name.
Liam Delap. Yeah, he went.
Liam Delap.
He was asleep. Like he wasn't aware of the fact that Konza was going up the pitch at all. He didn't know where. He had no idea about his surroundings. But you're 100% right, because to be fair to him, like his three biggest performances for us have come against Bayern, City, and Arsenal. So maybe he does. Maybe he does need a top level striker that's just going to keep him battled, like, because he's done good jobs on Haaland in the past too. Like, so, I don't trust him when we're fully on the ball. Though I don't think he's great at playing out at the back. I always get a bit nervous when he's playing the ball, and I think that, so you're right, those kind of games probably suit him a bit more, where we're under a little bit more pressure, because that's where his talents lie, I suppose, to physicality and stuff. But he always looks like he's not going to get back up from a tackle though. I always think he's going to go off injured. Even the other night, like, he went down early, and I was like, he's not going to come back up at all for a big lad, I think though, Emery or Cash coming back is very important though, because you need to get Konza back there, because there is pace up top for United. You need Konza centre back for this game, and I think that's probably what most of the thinking is like.
What's like? You're obviously in Australia and you're from Cork, and what's your opinion on Manchester United as a club?
Oh, like I grew up surrounded by Man United fans. You've met a couple of my mates that are big United fans, and like obviously in a period where United were just winning everything. So in school, I got absolutely tormented over Villa and United. So I've no sympathy for them whatsoever. Like I whatever with the fans, I think they're after getting used to it. But as a club, like there's no excuse where they should not be where they are now. Like it's not a case of like they say the Glazers didn't spend. They've spent more than enough money. Like this has just been repeating the same mistakes over and over. Ferguson deserved to leave when he can, but I firmly believe that Ferguson walked away and left the squad in a heap too. Like there wasn't. And I know he'd rebuilt.
In my opinion,
Yeah, and David Moyes got thrown under the bus. Yeah, David Moyes got thrown under the bus a little bit, I think. And then they turned to Solskjaer. I actually thought they were decent under Solskjaer, and then they screwed him over by bringing Ronaldo into and just completely demoralising anything he'd built in the dressing room. Because they were very dangerous for a while under Solskjaer. He had a young team that were kind of believed in what he was doing, and I thought, give him a couple of years, this is going to be a good team. I didn't want them to be, but they were definitely heading that way. And Ronaldo coming in, and it just purely came down to the fact that Ronaldo was thinking about going to Man City. There was no other thought process behind signing him. Like, and you can't make big decisions like that, like based on that, and it completely just changed everything. And it's just been going south since. And I'm delighted to see it, to be honest, because the less clubs we have to battle with now up around the top four is the better for us, They will probably get it right eventually, but I think it's going to take them a good few years. There's a lot of damage done. Like it's going to take a long time.
I have no doubt in my mind that they will be back. As Michael Huggins correctly says here, no team is the right to be at the top all the time. Look how far we fell after winning the European Cup. These things have a tendency to happen. United haven't fallen anywhere near to those levels, so they can be to be grateful where they are. But I believe there's a constant cloud over Old Trafford, and that cloud is Alex Ferguson looking down at the back of the head of a manager. And for me, until he departs the scene and stops going to matches, I think that's going to stay that way. I think he's constantly going to be compared to what's sitting up in the stand behind him. But I have no love for them. I absolutely despise everything they stand for and everything they created in the 90s of bullying the Premier League and bullying the referee and bullying every team in the league. I would quite happily see them fall to Division 2 or Division 3. I couldn't give a shiny shite about them. So I'm going to make a bold prediction today, Spud. Yeah. And it's something that's been due for a very, very long time. We are going to spank Man United today. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to spank Man United today. Seeing those two centre halves being picked, I just believe that we have everything in our power, and it's over to you, Unai Emery and the boys, to go and deliver that and deliver us what would be the end to an amazing week and let us ride off into the international break with an absolute tonkin under our belt, because we as fans deserve that. And whether you think a Tonkin is 2-0 or 5-0, just to put one over on them and really play them off the park today. It's long overdue. Let's do it today.
You can smash a team 2-0 if you completely control the game, and you know what I mean. So you don't have to score 6 goals to demoralize a team and smash them. But I'm going to agree with you, Paddy. I think I've been scared for many years, and how many times we look so good against them, went 2-0 up. And threw it away. I mean, I can just probably think of 3 or 4 off the top of my head in the last 10, 12 years where we've thrown away 2-0 leads against them, and it's sickening you. But I don't think Emery would allow that to happen, and we have the options to change it if it did come to that. So I fancy us, Villa Park. Like, the atmosphere should be bouncing, the players should be wanting to walk out. There's no fear factor of Man United anymore. It's gone. Like, their teams now are looking forward to playing United. They think the points are there, and if we have the aspirations, which we do, to be the top 4 again, these are the games we have to win at home. I genuinely believe that you're not going to meet United in such bad form so regularly. So now we've got to go and put a few past them,
Yeah, absolutely. Just get your score predictions in there. I won't do too many of them because, as I said, I haven't got the staying power with the voice. My voice gets very dry after a few of them. Not like Neil. But just a couple of things there. In your head, change man. Thank you so much for the donation there. Why does John Duran wear white tape around his hand? I have absolutely no idea. But to be honest with you, he can wear a cape with Superman on the back of it for all I care if he keeps doing what he's doing, because it's absolutely incredible. Reminds him of Jonathan Kodja, who used to do the same and he picked up that injury but kept wearing it afterwards. Yeah, somebody said that to me recently as well. Kodja did the exact same thing. And look, once he scores more goals than Jonathan Kodja done, I'll be really, really happy. Also, Matt Houghton, on behalf of the 20 people you gifted those memberships to, thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything you do for the podcast. It doesn't go unnoticed by anybody. We all really appreciate it. Obviously, there's bills to be paid here to get this on platforms and out to everybody. And donations like that obviously really, really help us. So thank you so much for it. I've said it over and over and over, but you deserve all the credit that you get because you've really helped us since we started this podcast. So will we get into a few predictions and see, does anyone share the same mad beliefs as me? Duncan Kilburn is going 3-0. Jared Dunleavy is going 3-0. Paul McAllister is going 3-1. Mr. Ponge, am I saying that right? Is going 5-1. Nathaniel says Leon Bailey double. Let's go. Yeah, we'll have that. Richard is going 3-1 Villa. Martin McKeever is going 4-1. Jared Kirwan is going 2-0. A couple of the lads saying thank you, Matt, for that. Really appreciate it. Miami Virtue was going 3-0 or 3-1 to Villa. Always funny to watch a Goldbridge rant after Man United stylish. Goldbridge actually earned a bit of credit for me this week because he came out and said there was no way that Unai Emery would take the Man United job, which I've been going mad over. The media saying it all week, which is absolute madness. Richie is going 3-1, but 1-0 will do. Yeah, absolutely. Michael O'Brien is going for 5-0. Watkins hat-trick and Durant too. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
Melty Shorts is going 4-0. Villa down under. Is that one of your guys?
Don't think so, no. Definitely not, anyway, though.
Junior says, I hope I see 3-0. Derek is going 4-1. Dico Blanco's gone 6-3. I can't let us let in 6-3 3 goals against this team. Raleigh is going 3-1. Keith Kelly is going 4-0 Villa, 2 up at halftime. Pin back for the second half and 2 breaks. Mark Wood is going 5-0. Myself and Mark are having a joke about this all morning because I've actually backed a 5-0 win today, which was 100-1. Don't condone any betting, but you know, if you are going to do it responsibly.
Oh, I hope you're right, Paddy. I hope you win that, man.
Matt Kay is going 2-2. Ozgerm is going 3-1. Do a couple more. Miami Virtue says, imagine a 5-0. That would be amazing. It absolutely would. HSS is going, Maguire and Evans in defence is going to be 6-0. Paul Watkins, Bailey and Duran at 3-0 is what he said. Seamus Costigan's going 4-0, and we're going to leave it at that for now. Mark, I think you've earned your right to plug your own podcast. So why not tell the over 1,000 people in the YouTube watchers there that where they can find your podcast?
Oh, cheers, Paddy. So obviously I'm part of an Australian podcast called the Villa Pride Down Under podcast. There's 3 of us involved in it. So we've got myself, the Irishman, we've got Rhino, the Welshman, and we've got Tess, the Englishman. We all live in different parts of Australia, so we're on 3 different time zones. So I'm in Perth, Rhino's in Melbourne, and Tess is in Brisbane. We actually met at the Villa and Leeds game in Brisbane with another guy, Paul, who had a separate podcast. And we all got talking at the table one night, and Paul invited us all to join his podcast. So none of us know each other at the table. So I'd actually spoken to Paul previously on his podcast, and then I heard his voice in the pub. It was an audio podcast, so I didn't know who he was. And next time I was like, I recognize that voice. So I got talking, and then the 4 of us on the table. So myself, Ryan, and Tess kind of moved on to start a different podcast after a while, and we have the Villa Pride Down Under now. It's can be found on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. It's a visual podcast like Paddy and Neil's. It's been pre-recorded up to now, but we're moving into live from now on, because there's so many games coming and going at the moment. It's there's so many moving parts. Your episode becomes irrelevant very, very quickly. So it's going to be on Sundays mostly. But obviously the games at the moment are Sunday night for us. So it's like 9 o'clock tonight for us for a game. So we're going to start our first live podcast tomorrow, which will be at 11:45 UK time, UK and Ireland time, which is about 7:45 for me and 8:45 for the lads over here. It's going to be usually on a Sunday night, same time, but it'll be Monday this week. So if you get a chance to tune in, hit the subscribe button and the follow. It all helps and helps the algorithm get out there. And have a look back at a few episodes. We've had Paddy on. Very thankful for Paddy to come on, and we've had Neil on, so it's brilliant. And we have some other great guests lined up in the future. So the podcast is growing lovely all the time. So if you could just jump on and give it a subscribe, the Villa Pride done on our podcast, we'd really appreciate it. Thanks very much, and cheers for that, Paddy, for giving us the plug, man.
Not a problem at all. There's more than enough room for every podcast, regardless of whether you watch them all or watch most of them, like I do. The media coverage of Aston Villa is really, really poor. So to have all of you guys, spread around the world talking about Villa, all the community we have, look at that, over 1,000 people in watching here today. Absolutely incredible. We appreciate
an hour before the game, and you have 1,000 people tuning in to watch you talk about the team sheet. It's brilliant. It's fantastic,
And look, Neil is disappointed he missed Team Sheet Tantrum. It is his favourite show, as he always says. He will be back after the game today. He assures me. I maybe won't, but he will get on and have a chat for as long as he can anyway after the game. Mark, thank you so much for your time. I realize it's late at night there. I want you to go and enjoy the game. Hopefully have a couple of beers and enjoy what could be an epic day for Aston Villa. I know I've bigged this up to get a slap across the wrists later on tonight, but as you know, I've got a big day today because my other love, Shelbourne Football Club, have a huge game this evening.
Massive.
I can't deal. I can probably deal with them dishing out a heartache. I've had a heartache for them for many, many years, but we're due this big win over Man United today. A statement victory, and let them all talk about Eric Ten Hag all week and how he's getting the sack and whatever. And you can all come back and listen to the likes of myself, Mark, Neil, Dan Bardell, Max Stokes, all of the community that put podcasts and videos together for you. Give them all a subscribe. It helps everybody. Even if you don't get to watch them, get in there, subscribe, look after the boys, leave a comment on their podcasts. Mark, thanks so much. We'll be on again pretty soon, I'm sure. And thanks very much for helping us out.
Oh, my pleasure, Paddy. I love jumping on to always have a chat with yourself and Neil. So I really appreciate it, man. Happy to help out anytime, as you've helped me out many, many times in the past, mate. So yeah, you're 5-0. I hope it comes in.
It might pay for my next trip to Villa Park. We'll see how it goes.
That's it, mate. And to all of you, any of you going to the game that is watching this, lads, have a brilliant time and sing your hearts out. Make it happen, because I heard Bayern Munich in the stadium was pretty special Wednesday night. So if we can emulate that again this Sunday and get the lads over the line, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Enjoy your day, lads, and stay safe, everybody.
Yeah. Get yourself ready for the game if you're sitting at home live on the TV. Can't beat it. Sunday afternoon, cold Sunday afternoon here in Ireland. Look after yourselves. All that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.